Hello and welcome to my channel of Trauma Healing and Growth with Claudine. Today in the studio I have well experienced, well established guest in my studio right now. I'm super grateful that you're here, guys. From you, we are going to learn about innovation and community services and the power we have to empower our youth in our community so that they can build their future um, with such power that they can use and be able to build a better future for themselves. So, without taking longer, let's dive in. Starting on my left side, why don't you tell us about yourself? Who are you? Where are you from? And what you do?
My name is Mikon, Mikon Hayes. I was born and raised in Victoria, on the Saanich Peninsula, so on the traditional territories of the Wasanic people. I have a husband, Isa, and my children, Mustafa, Khadija, Caden, and Aisha, and our oldest son, Max, passed in 2023.
Okay.
I work in the social services industry. Providing staffed care homes for youth in care of the Ministry of Children and Family Development and delegated Indigenous agencies.
Right. Mikon, what does your name mean? Sounds pretty much Asian.
My name confuses people because it is an Asian name. My father was with the Canadian peacekeepers in Vietnam. He loved the country and he loved the people, so I'm actually named after the Mekong River, and he just individualized the name a little bit.
That's
Yes.
beautiful.
Thank you.
How about you? Tell us about who you are, where you come from, and what you do for a living.
Thank you, Claudine, for inviting me. My name is Janice John Mitchell.
Yeah.
I came from Trinidad and Tobago originally 15 years ago
Okay.
to join my husband, who also moved from Trinidad and Tobago. And we originally came to stay for 5 years, and now we're here. For this length of time. I am a registered nurse and came as a registered nurse, and double, I guess, career trained in business as well, and specializing in entrepreneurship and leadership. And over the years, I worked as a nurse and as an entrepreneur and in many organizations.
Yeah.
So I work as a registered nurse right now still, and I do have a business with my husband, and I'm involved in various equity seeking groups and caucuses, both in nursing and in the community. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you. We are happy to have you guys here. So my first question goes to you, as a business entrepreneur who have a business in social services. Tell us about your story. How did you start, and how is it going?
I say that, so my business has been Kadi Community Services. And I say that it's an unintentional business. I was made aware of some of the struggles of youth aging out of government care, and thought that I had the opportunity to provide support, mostly through housing and with a little bit of support through our rental properties and through my experience as a foster parent, and quickly realized that there was more that needed to be done to serve children and youth in care. And as I was learning about these needs and meeting these needs, opportunities came to be able to support more and more youth, and we quickly grew to be an agency through that. So I needed to realize that I needed to, in order to properly support them, that I needed to basically create a registered business and look at it from a business perspective, which is challenging for me because I went in going just wanting to support people.
Mhm.
And in order to do that well, there needs to be a lot of stuff that happens at the back
Yeah.
end
Oh yeah.
as
Yes,
as
business
you operating as
administration,
a
legal, all
business.
that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. But it's an incredible story of how this help came up to help the community service, and at the same time, it created a business for you. So it's really incredible to hear your journey, and thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, my next question goes to you, Janice. I want to ask you about the youth service that you run in the community. Can you tell us about it a little
Okay,
bit?
so
Yeah.
I am the youth coordinator for the African Heritage Association of Vancouver Island.
Yeah.
And for me, my passion has always been with the young people and the elderly, because I think when we are busy living our lives, we tend to forget these two groups
Yeah.
as adults. And at this stage in our lives, adulthood, we are, I think, more ready to make a change, and we have more power to effect changes. So I thought about it and decided that I would also want to help. And I saw so many disparities among our marginalized group, which is the African and the African descent. I noticed mental health problems, problems with, prejudice or being treated different, and bullying. And because many of our people are from different countries as well, we have, a difference in communication, and then people understanding our traditions. So I wanted to create a space
Yeah.
where they can be understood, where they can be themselves. And so I sent out the word and I spoke to others, and one person, he said, okay. His name is Parker, Parker Johnson, and he spoke with Sinan, and Sinan was connected to the United Church in James Bay, and they said yes. And Karen at the time was the pastor there. They said, okay, we can give you some space, and I asked for this space for 2 Sundays a month, and it's the first and second Sunday, first and third Sunday of each month. And so far we had very good turnout, and I said to everyone, it's for whomever needs it. And so for many, it's like a beacon, just to know that there's now a space.
Yeah.
It's a beacon. And we did some various programs. Our last program was an entrepreneurship workshop. Our last big program was an entrepreneurship, not workshop, but symposium and expo, where we had business owners from Victoria and even Vancouver volunteer to come over and speak about their experience and to showcase their business. And they also were given, the youths were also given information about different types of businesses, pros and cons, and following, and a few more information. And we had a young lady who, the youngest one, I remember she said she wants to be the next president of Sudan.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
And so we have all these dreams and aspirations, and the feedback was wonderful. And we had the youths themselves involved in the preparation and making sure that things were running smoothly. So we enjoyed that, and it was from birth to 35.
Wow.
Because
that's
we
really
need to
incredible.
see
Yeah.
each other, and I've never limit that age, in terms of from one, because we learn by example. They look at the older compatriots we may see on the Spanish side of the Caribbean, but they look at them and they feel empowered. And my whole idea is for empowerment, to make sure that these kids can see examples of themselves in the future, and I think it was a good turnout. Our last workshop was last week, and it was on finance and banking. We had someone from the African and African heritage community. As he's a bank manager, his name is Musa. He's a bank manager. TD, he came in and he did some info on credit, which he didn't know credit was going to be the number one topic, but it was budgeting, but we were stuck on credit for a long while. And so there would be more. Last year was also some workshops on culture and arts and like that. And so we want a real place that is our own. So hopefully all different countries on the African continent and the diaspora can come together in their various ways and do what they have to do and build solidarity and strength.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
My next question comes to you, Mekon, as a business owner that happened to discover it accidentally, if I may say. How did you maintain your confidence to run such a big business, if I may say? And what challenges did you come across to, or other opportunities that you can share with us?
I would say that the confidence, it comes from my determination and to stay focused on what the goal is, which is to support the children and youth that are at risk with complex needs and additional care needs. As Janice said, like a lot of times we don't spend enough time focusing on the importance of supporting our children and youth, and our agency supports the most vulnerable children and youth in the region. And so to keep moving forward, I keep that in mind. And I keep in mind that even though that these children and youth have a lot of challenges, have very challenging behaviors, that they also have a lot of opportunities ahead of them if we provide the right environment and the right care for them. So that's what keeps myself going every day, is to keep that in focus. The children and youth and the needs of the children and youth that we support. Some of the challenges are definitely within the systems that we work within. The social systems, the healthcare systems, the definitely mental health and addictions, the justice systems, the educational systems. They're not all developed to properly support the children and youth that we have in our care. And bumping up against that, especially in the early years, there were a lot of tears because, as I said, my goal was just to care for people. And I quite often I'm like, just let me care for the people, you know, but you have to do it within these systems. So a lot of it is learning the systems and learning how to navigate the systems to make them work in the best interest of the children and youth, and also to learn how to advocate and to recognize where our role is in that as well. So that means, you know, not only educating on each system, but also how they interconnect. And at some points they don't interconnect, they bang up against each other. And then you really have to be creative and, you know, in these complex situations. Other challenges are with staffing. Once we went from just a few kids and a few staff to we're at about 130 caregivers or so right now, and it's making sure that we have caregivers that have the intention of working hard for and with our children and youth. I know people need to be paid for the work they do. Everybody needs to be paid. We have to make a living. But for them to come in with the right intention and the right care and interacting with our children and youth is top priority.
It's more important.
So it's hard to find people that come in with that intention and that the kids can feel that they're not just there for a paycheck because they'll say it every time. So that's an additional challenge too, and kind of training them or helping them learn how to meet the needs because they're so complex and stuff that people aren't used to experiencing or dealing with. And to keep coming back every day because there's some of the things that they have to deal with in their day-to-day stuff can be traumatizing for the caregivers as well. So how do we support the caregivers to take care and look after themselves is important as well.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yes.
So my next question comes to you, Janice. Can you give us some insight about AHAVI programs that has for the youth?
That AHAVI has for the
Yeah.
youth. So far, there is no particular program that AHAVI has for the youth in terms of something that is continuous. What AHAVI does have is this space that is open to the youths every first and third Sunday. That space is for them to come in and be with each other. There is a library, which is a mobile library. I have to take the books there every time there are games. There's a television and there are materials that they have at hand and they can use. What we try to do is to have a workshop or workshops almost every time we gather. And if not, it's just going to be the meet and greet, which that's a program we call meet and greet, a place for them to just come and be themselves and relax. And next year we will also have a series of programs again running and workshop. So that's a place where they can come. And potluck sometimes. We find a lot of people coming in for potlucks. And so there's a whole lot more we would like to do if we only had that bigger space. We had started a sport program and it's finished right now where we had gotten a grant to give money and do a mentorship program for the youth. So we trained some mentors and they all took 12. So I had 60. It was originally supposed to be less, right? But they got money for gear and they got money for the sport program itself. And that check was made for the organization. Or if they had already spent the money, a check will go to them once they showed us their money. And then they will also get some money for sport gears or transportation. So that went well. We still have some kids waiting because they want to get into a particular football club. So they are, so some are still waiting, but we had that going, that just finished or is concluding. And also we would like to start a sport club. We did try it sometime this year and that went well, but we are limited with the volunteers. So this is something that we will have to work on. Yes.
Okay. My next question comes to you, Nikon. I know you touched base about the challenges you meet in your business. How about the funding? How is it like? Do you have any grants or fund that comes from the government to help out?
All of our contracts are with the Ministry of Children and Family Development or the Indigenous delegated agencies that support Indigenous children and youth, urban and on reserve. So the funding challenges are more about that there's a very prescribed method that the funding is done. So it's not necessarily done, again, as far as what the needs of the child are, or for us to be able to be flexible within the existing funding. It's not even necessarily that there's, for our agency that we need more funding. It's just that's very prescribed how the funding is used. And sometimes you have a child or youth that has additional needs and or you need the additional staffing, and instead of just being able to kind of pivot within the existing funding we have, you have to go through a process of getting additional etc. So some of that it can be a bit challenging.
Yeah, thank you. My next question for you, Janice, I just want to ask, what kind of skills or experience that that Access Harvey Services develop along the way?
What skills
Yeah, or
that
what are we hoping for them to develop if they attend Harvey's services?
I would hope that they would be able to develop a sense of community, right? A sense of openness, because so many of the youths cannot be themselves.
Yeah.
They feel they need to change their accent, and that's a place where they can feel free, and also that they can be truthful, because so many of them may have to tell small lies to fit in, and all these group oriented attitudes that may be missed or become maladaptive. When you think about mental health, I think that they can be given a chance to do that, including like last year, we had another program where the youths were able to compete and showcase their talent. And so you saw leadership coming out from there. You saw people were able to showcase their, well, it was, I think, poetry. We had one person, he played an instrument. We had dancing. We had all these things. I want to see that. I want to see these things come out more in the youth.
Yeah.
And so for the various programs and workshops as well, we just want to give these youths access to various aspects in life, and to realize some goals and express their goals as well.
Yeah.
So it's sort of nurturing and developing as it goes, and I want them to lend their ideas and give their own ideas in terms of what they would like to see this whole youth meetup become, and let them take it from there.
Yeah.
Right? It's just me creating a space, or me wanting a space with others as well. We want to create that space so that they can develop and nurture in a non-maladaptive way.
Yeah.
As much as possible.
Yeah. That's beautiful. My next question to you, Mekon, I want to ask you to share with us the small win you saw at the beginning of your entrepreneurship. Like, what wins did you see that let you know that you're in the right track despite the challenges you're facing?
I think because of the kind of business it is, wins are different than in a typical business, where wins are about revenue and how much money you're bringing in and whatnot. The wins are in the development of not only our children and youth, but some of our caregivers as well. So, there's examples we have of when a young person will come to us. I remember actually, I think she was a second or third person that came to us, and the mother had, there were some real concerns about them being out in community safely and whatnot, and the mother and father had said, well, we don't even let them cross the road without holding our hand, or this kind of stuff. And what we were seeing is that they actually had quite a bit of independence. And at that time, they were about 17, so they were with us for about 2 years. And by the time they aged out of care at 19, they were able to live semi-independently without full-time staffing support. Some other instances are of some of our children and youth, a youth that might have some more challenges around mental health and substance abuse and whatnot, and like a real trauma background. And there was a young man earlier this year, he sent me a Mother's Day card. He hasn't been in care with us for 3 or 4 years, but he stays in touch. We stay close. And he had sent a Mother's Day card, and then he had sent a gratitude letter, and was really happy for me to receive the letter. Kept asking me if I'd received it yet, and it was really interesting because in the letter, he's had a very rough early childhood, and came to us in his early teens, and in the letter talked about the care that he had received in our home, and the caregivers that we had. And he said, you always found caregivers that would make sure I was looked after, and that you would come to the house and make sure that they were doing their job properly, and that I had proper food, and you had a nice house for me, and I had all the clothes you needed. And sometimes, even if I was giving you a hard time, you'd put me on track, and you'd always talk and listen to me. And he said, because of that, I feel like I have a privileged childhood.
That's beautiful.
Just that was, a snapshot in his whole life before and after he was in our care. And so that's what I mean when I say it's very important for the caregivers to be there and engaged with our children, because it can change their whole perspective on how their life has gone. So because of the challenges that they have, there aren't a lot of immediate successes. We have to be patient and see where what we plant for them lands and how it grows within them, because sometimes the successes don't come until well after they've left our care.
That's a incredible story. Thank you for sharing it with us. My next question for you, Janice, you touched base a little bit about leadership, that Harvey is looking at helping those kids to develop when they come to. Do you mind talk a little bit more about if there is any future plans on how we can develop that, so that we can give them that support to be better leaders for the future?
Sure, I am
Yeah.
sure. First to begin, leading off from the event we had this year, we plan to now continue taking the youth's ideas in entrepreneurship, that is, and nurturing that in terms of doing a full day workshop where we will guide them in terms of where they want to see this idea, this service, this business, as well as those who already have a business and probably thinking about moving on, getting a loan, and all of that. So it will be very much business oriented, tailored to entrepreneurship and innovation. So it's going to be lead by innovation. This is what we're looking at in the next few months, to lead by innovation. Apart from that, we're going to reach out to the community to find out what are things that the kids need, and also to continue with the other programs that would encourage the kids to be themselves, right, and to lead by example. Yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful. My next question is for both of you, because you're both entrepreneurs. You know what it takes to become an entrepreneur. What advice or suggestion would you tell to a youth, a kid, or someone who want to become an entrepreneur, but they are either scared or they don't know how to start, or they are confused about the process? What would you tell them?
To start off, I would tell them, don't be afraid to work hard. Like, actually, you have to work hard if it's something that you that's important to you. That you have to work hard, and that you need to continually. I don't think you ever reach the point, or I know for myself, reach the point where I think I know everything. There's constantly things that I'm learning from those that we care for, from my caregiving team. I mean, I may be the owner and the boss, but they're the ones that are right there on the ground. So whatever is happening for them, I need to take into consideration and be constantly willing to learn. What I would say is, don't be afraid to work hard. You have to work hard. If it's something that is a goal that you set for yourself, you should keep working towards that goal, and not to get distracted by the noise of the other people. So, as I said, there's a lot of systems that I'm working with and within, and sometimes against. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the background that can be distracting. And I just say to focus on what your intentions, what your goals are, and keep that in the mind, and let that be what's driving you forth, and keep learning. Learn from the people. For me, it's from the children and youth we support, it's from the caregivers, it's from the community teams, but there's still so much learning to do. And sometimes also to set your ego aside, because you're going to get hurt feelings. You're going to get, why didn't they listen to me and whatnot. But to me, every interaction is a learning opportunity. And I think also just to surround yourself by people that know what your intentions are, and are there to support you, and that you can be transparent with them, that are transparent with you. I don't feel like I have to convince people of anything, because I'm going in with full transparency and good intentions, and hoping for good outcomes.
Yeah, thank you. How about you, Janice?
So for youth with a business idea, the first thing I would say is to step out there and inquire. Find out. There are so many resources that you can find out online, but there are other places too as well that they can go to. And within our community itself, there's a few resources that you have, like the BC Black Entrepreneurship Group and various groups. You even have things like Community Futures in rural areas where I work. I'm part of Community Futures as well. You have What We See and various organizations that will give startup education, even the bank. And now you have our Receive the Portfolio to lend money to Black entrepreneurs. But most importantly is to step out there and share the idea with people who have the resources and who can tell you. I would always tell people as well to look at the glass half filled. Be optimistic.
Yes.
Right? Be optimistic, because you may have an idea and that idea may seem, flawed to some people. So also be careful who you speak to about your ideas. You must talk to people who know, because sometimes you can feel discouraged about a business idea or service or some new innovative way, and you tell the wrong person and then you stop there because then they discourage you. So it's always good to stay on the positive side, see the glass half filled, approach various organizations, and you can also do a lot of self-education online. Yes.
I want to thank both of you for your incredible work in the community, and for being here today. It's really valuable to hear what you guys do in the community and how you're helping our youth, both in the community services sector and in leadership, so that they can live a thriving life in our community. It's beautiful. And for our viewers, I hope we provided some inspiration to look into. And thank you so much for being with us. And we will continue bringing you some more topics like this that help us to keep building a legacy. Thank you so much. God bless.